Hello viewers, welcome back to the Moose Mobile Auto Repair channel, and today we're working on a 2014 Volkswagen Tiguan. This one has a 2-liter TSI engine, and this vehicle is equipped with the Volkswagen 4Motion all-wheel drive system, and today we are going to be doing the transmission service. Now this particular Volkswagen is equipped with the Aisin 09M 6-speed automatic transmission. This is available only on the 4Motion all-wheel drive Volkswagens. If you have the front wheel drive version of these Tiguans, then you will have the 09G transmission. Now, other Volkswagens that have the front wheel drive, they will have the 09G or the 09K transmission. Now, Aisin is a manufacturer that makes automotive parts such as transmissions, water pumps, timing belt kits, and so on. So they are a Japanese company. Toyota owns roughly 25% or a quarter stake of the Aisin company. So this Aisin transmission in this particular Volkswagen is a Japanese transmission. So this will be taking the Toyota T4 transmission fluid or the Aisin T4 transmission fluid. So it's going to be exactly the same as the Toyota vehicles. So at the time of this video, the Volkswagen dealership wanted $52 a liter for the T4 fluid. So I said, forget about it. So today I'm going to be using the Valvoline Max Life stuff. I've been using this for roughly 16 years now, and so I haven't had a problem using this fluid. This fluid is going to work in a majority of vehicles, so I'm going to be using this today. The Valvoline stuff, for a total of 5 liters, it cost me about $50 plus taxes, Canadian. I'm talking in Canadian dollars because I live here in Canada. So I'm going to be using the Valvoline Max Life stuff on this one. So today I'm just going to be doing a basic drain and fill of the system. I'm not going to be doing the full service, dropping the pan, changing the filter and the gasket and the fluid and the magnets and everything like that. It's because that the customer does not want to spend all that money doing a full service. Now, I try to sell the full service, but a lot of customers, they decline. So they just want to do the basic service. So we are just going to be doing a basic drain and fill because that's what the customer is paying for. So I'm not doing any more extra work. I only do on what the customer wants. Now, typically I try to sell the full service, but a lot of people don't have all of that money laying around, and doing a full dropping the pan and changing the filter service can be expensive on some vehicles. So now, before I get started, I'm just going to show you a few of the tools and equipment that you are going to be needing to do this service. So the first thing, you are going to be needing some transmission fluid. I may put the whole 5 liters in to circulate the fluid, to get some more of the clean fluid out, because this vehicle hasn't had a service yet. So I'm gonna try to put all of the 5 liters in and then drain out the excess fluid afterwards when we check the fluid level. And you're going to be needing a new drain plug and washer, or sealing washer or gasket. And you also going to be needing a a a filler tool or pump of some sort. Now on this transmission, you can only bottom fill the transmission, so you are going to be needing this tool. This is this tool is by OMT, Orion Motor Tech, manual transmission fluid pump with adapters. So they have a bunch of adapters in this kit, and they have a tool to open up the cap here, the small lid. If you're not able to open it by hand, the adapter I'm using is ATF 105. So this is going to thread in at the bottom of the oil pan, the transmission pan. And so I will post a link in the description if you want to get one yourself. I purchased this off of Amazon. I think I paid like $85 or something like that. So it does not cost too much. The capacity of this is roughly 3 liters, approximately. So you may or may not need more than that, but if you need more, you just need to open this up to add fluid. And I already added the fluid in here. And one other thing you are going to need is a scan tool of some sort. I'm using the Launch X431 5 Plus. So I'm going to be using this to check the transmission temperature so that I can accurately check the transmission fluid level. So before we start, you want to make sure that the vehicle is at operating temperature and that the transmission fluid is hot before you drain the transmission fluid, because you want to make sure that you are draining as much of the fluid as possible. Now, for the drain and fill procedures, you are probably only going to get a third or half of the fluid out. The rest of the old fluid is going to be inside the torque converter and inside the cooler lines and so on. So you probably, you won't be able to get all of the fluid out. So it's probably best to do a couple or a few drain and fills if you're able to. So now I will be talking about the tools afterwards, after we are underneath the vehicle. Now I will tell you on which tools and sockets you will need to do the job. So I already have jacks and jack stands in place holding the vehicle. And so now we just need to take off the T25 screws so we're able to get the service cover off. So we have to take off all of the T25 screws, and then I believe in the back there's a couple T45 bolts. So first thing we are going to do is to remove all of the the T25 screws. So after you get the T25 screws out, this the bottom piece should be able to slide out. It clips off, so you just need to push it out this way, and then you should be able to get this piece. Just make sure that you don't scratch this part, because this one is a special part of the service cover. So just make sure that you don't scratch it. And then now, after you take that off, there are more screws to take off. 1, 2, 3, 4 screws. So you need to take those off. So now there are the 2 bolts here and here. Also take note of the rubber protector piece that goes inside the plastic service cover. This is a half drive T45 socket. So I'm just going to use an impact to take them off. One here and one here. I'm just going to leave these bolts on the ground there, and the service cover you should be able to take out. There is one more screw over here that I did not see, so you need to take that out, hiding in the corner here. And then you should be able to slide this out. This is the service cover here. Just take note of the rubber protective piece that goes in here. I think it's just like a noise dampening, or so that it does not hit the aluminum piece of the subframe. So now the transmission pan is fully exposed. Everything is exposed now. We need to access the drain plug over here. This is a 5mm hex or Allen key. So I'm just going to be using a measuring jug or container to measure the fluid. So this is a 5mm hex, so you can use a 3/8 ratchet and a 5mm hex bit. It's not on extremely tight, so hopefully you don't have any trouble in trying to loosen it. So we are going to drain the fluid. We are going to be replacing the drain plug and the gasket on this. So I'm just going to let this drain and sit here, and then after I'm going to remove the overflow plug that's inside. There's a plastic piece that's inside to take out. So I'm still waiting for it to drain. So far we got about 1 liter out, almost. So I'm still waiting for this to drain. If you don't want to wait, you can take the same 5mm and insert it inside, so you're able to take the overflow plug out. It's not on tight, you can just take it out by hand. So insert the hex bit inside, and you'll be able to take the overflow plug, or the plastic piece that's inside the transmission pan. And and more of the fluid will start to drain out. This is the plastic piece over here. So I'm going to clean this up. This is the overflow plug that sits inside the transmission pan. So this is used to to check the fluid level. So when this sits inside, the the fluid that's above here is going to drain out. So when the fluid level is the correct level, is going to sit flush with this overflow plug, and that's how you know it's going to be in the on the correct level. So I'm just waiting for the fluid to drain, and then we are going to to fill it up with new fluid, and then later I'm going to raise the vehicle off of all four wheels to get it leveled, so we can check the fluid level afterwards. So now it's all done draining. I got roughly 3 liters and a bit out. So now it's dripping. So I'm going to reinstall the overflow plug. You just need to install it by hand only. You don't need to use like a ratchet or anything to tighten this up, because this is not on very tight. Just keep on turning it until it stops. And once it's tight, then you're all good. Just give it a little bit, and then that's it. And so now we are going to fill it up now with the fluid. On this vehicle, you can only bottom fill the transmission. You cannot fill it up from on top, unfortunately. So you'll need to drain it from the bottom and fill it from the bottom. So we're going to insert the tool and thread it in by hand only until it stops. We are going to open up the valve, and we are going to start to pump the fluid up. So this is the pump here. I'm just going to pump it through to get the fluid in. So I'm just going to pump it up. There's not that much room to work the pump, so just gonna go slowly until we have enough pressure. Make sure that the hose is not twisted or anything. There's approximately 3 liters in here, so I may need to fill it up a tiny bit more. It's roughly, I think, at 15 psi. So once it loses a little bit of pressure, I will need to pump it up again. It's going to be a slow process. You can see the fluid is slowly is moving down. So you can see the fluid level is slowly going down. It's over here. So I'm going to continue to pump this up until the fluid is filled, and I'm going to fill it up with the remainder of the transmission fluid. I want to temporarily overfill this transmission because I want to clean the transmission out, and then later we will drain out the excess fluid. So now the container is empty. I close the valve, and then I close the valve, and then I open this because I'm going to add some more fluid now. So I'm just going to add some more of the fluid. And we're going to close it up and continue to fill the transmission up. So we're going to open this back up again. Give this a few pumps to circulate the fluid. I'm just going to temporarily overfill this so I can get more of the fluid in there. If you're not able to get more of the fluid, and then the transmission pan area is full, you're not able to pump the fluid until the vehicle is started up, because that's when the fluid circulates. So I'm just going to keep going until it stops, and then that's it. I'm just making sure that the hose does not get kinked or twisted as I'm filling up the transmission. So the transmission is all filled up now. This is empty, and so now I'm just going to close the valve. I'm going to close this up. And as you are loosening this, make sure you have the new drain plug and the sealing washer all ready. I don't think it's going to matter as to which side you put the sealing washer, but I think the part where it crushes is going to be facing towards the transmission pan. So this is the new one, and this one is the old one. So we're going to loosen this up now, and fluid is going to come out. So make sure you install the drain plug as soon as you take this out. We're just going to temporarily install this by hand only for now, because we have to check the level. So before we start, I just have a digital leveler gauge. You want to make sure that the vehicle is leveled or close to level. So it's okay to be off a maximum of 1 or 2 degrees. Some transmissions, they have a tolerance of 1 or 2 degrees off, and so that's okay. It's not going to be a big deal. So try your best to get it on level ground as possible. So this is 1.65 degrees. I can adjust the jacks and stuff to get it close, but this is going to be fine. If you can get it closer to 0, and then that's best. So 1.65 degrees is okay. It's a very slight incline, so it's not that big of a deal. I can try to adjust the jacks if possible. See if I can adjust it. You know, it's 1.55 degrees. One 1.3, so it's getting closer to 0. I'm just adjusting the jack here, but this is okay. It's not a big deal. It's if it's like 1 or 2 degrees, that's fine. But ideally, you want it to get it at 0, but you probably won't be able to get it perfect. So now we're just going to hook up the scan tool just under the driver's dash, and just loading up the scan tool. This vehicle has 103,107 kilometers. So we are just going to start the vehicle up. And I'm just getting the scan tool loaded, and I'm going to get the transmission temperature. Now you want to make sure that you are doing this through the scan tool and not through an infrared thermometer, because the infrared thermometer is going to be inaccurate. It may be 10 degrees Fahrenheit lower than the actual transmission temperature from the sensor. So we'll just go to diagnostic. Going to system selection, transmission, electronics. Okay. Read data stream by list. Transmission, looking for a temperature. ATF temperature. Okay. We need to get this between 95 and 113 Fahrenheit. So 105.8 degrees. So this is exactly on what we want. Before we check the level, we need to go through the gears first. So we need to go through the gears in each position. You need to wait a minimum of 10 seconds before you switch through the gears. So wait for 10 seconds. The car is beeping at me, saying that it's not in park, but don't worry about that. Just make sure you have the brake pedal held as you are doing this. So I'm just going through the gears to circulate the transmission fluid. Then we are going to check the level soon. Service information states that you must wait 10 seconds in every gear selection. Doesn't have to be exact, but that's what it states in the service manual or service information. just getting the transmission fluid to circulate. So keep repeating this procedure for like a minute or two, and then place it in park to check the fluid level afterwards. So now you must check the fluid level temperature between 95 and 113 Fahrenheit. So it's 107.6, so that's good. So now we are going to check the fluid level. I placed the selector lever in park now. So now we're going to open this up to drain the excess fluid. And now we are going to drain this until you get a thin and steady stream, until it's a trickle, and then we are going to close it up. I believe it's about 1.5 to 2 liters overfilled, so I could clean out the transmission. So we're gonna wait until it's a steady stream or trickle, and then we are going to close it up, and we are going to torque the drain plug after that. And it's still draining out at the moment. Just make sure that you are checking the temperature to make sure that it does not go outside the range as you are doing this. So now it's almost done. That's it. After the stream is just about done, and then close it up, and then you're all good. We're going to tighten this up a little bit. You want it to be a thin and steady stream. And once it trickles, and then you need to close it up right away. So now I'm going to shut the vehicle off. And now if you don't have a torque wrench, you can just tighten it up snug, and then you're good. You don't need to tighten it up all that much. So the torque spec for the drain plug is going to be 11 foot-pounds. This is an M10 by 1 threads. This is a thread checker tool that I got some time ago to check the threads, the specific thread pitch on the nuts and bolts of vehicles. So this is a M10 by 1 threads. So in the specification here, it says the fill plug M10 by 1 threads, 15 Newton meters, 11 foot-pounds. So that's how much that you will need to tighten up the drain plug or the fill plug. There's only one plug on this, so you can call it on whatever you want. This is a 5mm hex Allen key or hex bit. And also I would like to stay on the side of caution for some things that are low torque, like this one. Sometimes I don't use a torque wrench because it's very easy to over tighten it and strip out the threads. So it's probably advised to not use a large torque wrench like this. This is an electronic one, but I don't trust it. I don't trust to use a torque wrench on small drain plugs like this. So usually I just tighten it up snug by hand, and then you're good. So all you need to do is tighten this up. You can use a torque wrench if you want. The torque spec is 11 foot-pounds. Usually I just I tighten it up by hand until it's snug. Sometimes I don't like to use a torque wrench on very small bolts or drain plugs that take a very low amount of torque. So you have to be careful because you don't want to strip out the drain plug. So sometimes I tighten it up snug by hand, and then you're good. Just enough to tighten and to crush the crush washer or the sealing washer. So once you're done, just wash the area down with some brake cleaner. And then now we are just going to put back the service cover. This is the old transmission fluid. I got about 3.25 liters out of here. This is the first transmission service on this vehicle. So that's it. That concludes the video of the transmission service. I just need to reinstall the service cover. Just make sure that you go for a road test to make sure that the transmission is shifting okay, and you should be all good to go. And also, if you want, you can go for a road test and verify for leaks to make sure that the drain plug is not leaking any transmission fluid, and then you can reinstall the service cover. Now, there was one thing I forgot to mention, is that the service interval for the T4 transmission fluid is 48,000 kilometers or 30,000 miles, or every 3 years, whichever comes first. Now, this vehicle has 103,000 kilometers, so it's the first transmission service after 10 years of driving this vehicle. So typically it's not very good to go that long without doing a service. I know in the Volkswagen scheduled maintenance, it states to inspect the transmission fluid, but it does not say to replace the transmission fluid. It only says to inspect. Now, some fluids you may be able to go the distance and to go a little bit over the service interval, but it's not good to go too much over the interval, because that's going to shorten the life of the transmission and possibly damage the transmission. That's it for today. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please don't forget to give it a like, and please consider subscribing to my channel if you're not already a subscriber, and please don't forget to hit that bell notification. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good day and take care.